Sports Chat Place YouTube channel, throughout social media. We're going to get you out here well before the top of the hour, give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games, and that's what we do here on the drive-thru, Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's over live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. and Eastern, and to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pickdawgz and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us for today. All right, this is Rod Zawacki, Brad Francis with us, Brian Bittler, Jay Briggs. Of course, Javon will sign in momentarily, and we got David Racy. And here's how the lineup for this evening. We've got Bittler, Racy, Briggs, Francis, Bert Zawacki. Then I will close this one out. All right, Monday Night Football on the board tonight. We got some player props. We're gonna take a look at some baseball series as well. We got some college football for you as well coming up midweek. So we're going to make this show. We got a little bit of everything on the show today, with just really one game scheduled. But we got the playoffs coming up from baseball coming up. We're going to cover some of those as well. Some series prices for you and picks. So let's get this one underway. Let's go to welcome in Brian Bittler. You'll catch him over at Pickdawgz Premium. We'll bring Brian in right now. Get ready to roll here as we start a new week here on the drive-thru. Brian, what's happening?
Tell you what, glad to be here with you and all my good friends here at Pickdawgz.com. Start off another hopefully profitable week. 3-2 Saturday, 1-2 yesterday on Sunday. The Indianapolis Colts. Those Colts let me down
again, huh?
They had a nice comeback in that one, yeah, but they just couldn't pull it out in overtime. I like Richardson. He's a threat back there, quarterback.
Yeah, the Rams built that big lead, and it was just as to say, the Rams faded there down the stretch, but they were able to get that Nakua in action out there, huh? Surprising everybody.
Yeah, when you lose that coin toss in overtime after your defense has been on the field, it's kind of tough to stop the other team. But, that's the way the rules are, Can't lose that coin toss and let the team score. So it's just the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. It didn't work out very well there, indeed. No doubt. All right, Brian, we're going to go college football, limited board today, so we're going to just make the best of it. We got FIU taking New Mexico State here. College football action here for you here on the 4th here, which comes up here on Wednesday. We see New Mexico State laying 6 here. Total sits 49.5.
Yeah, these are the kind of college football games I love. And honestly, when I looked at this board, I was trying to decide which one I wanted to use as a premium, which one I wanted to use as a free pick. And I think this one's right up there with the premium pick. I'm not going to say it's a huge matchup here on Wednesday night, but I love this time of year when we get small conference action. Small conference action. Normally it's the MAC conference, but tonight or on Wednesday, it's going to be Conference USA. And I think a lot of people are going to be drawn into FIU based on that 3-2 record. But this Panthers team got exposed September 23rd versus Liberty. They got beat down 38-6. I think Liberty's the class of the Conference USA conference. New Mexico State has been a solid cover team as of late, 6-3-1 over the last 10 games. Also a revenge play here on Wednesday. FIU took New Mexico State out last year, 21-7. I think New Mexico State has been able to get yardage coming into this week, ranked 53rd in the nation, 445 yards of offense per game. FIU, 334 per game, ranking them at 194. FIU also one of the worst teams in college football as far as allowing yards, 456 per game, ranking them at 241st. So for me, I think New Mexico State, easy touchdown winner here. I'm going to take them minus the 6.5.
All right, I got Brian here on New Mexico State here laying the points here against 6.5. Do your line shopping. The sharpest book in the world is at 6. You'll find some 6. Let's see, 6.5 in some other locations as well. So obviously, as we talked about, guys, make sure you shop to get the best numbers. Yeah, FIU, one of the worst programs in college football last year. Remember that coaching change they made. And, of course, New Mexico State has been making bowl games. Jerry Kill's done a pretty good job over there, although they did get off to a rather rough start. 2-3, so they're still in line here for a bowl game. We look at FIU. They beat UConn. They beat North Texas. North Texas, the worst defensive team you've seen in college football. And then they beat Maine just by 2 points. And they lose at Louisiana Tech to open the season. Louisiana Tech's a team that has trouble drawing at home. I think they were like near the bottom. They played to 52% capacity last year, and not a really good home field for Louisiana Tech. Yet FIU goes over there and gets beat. But again, they've had some issues getting some points on Liberty, on Louisiana Tech, and Maine at FCS school.
Yeah, it's a big eye opener when they struggled to beat a team like Maine. And then you got New Mexico State. This is a game they just can't afford to lose if they want to make a bowl. They got to get this third win here. So I don't really have a trouble laying anything under 7 and under in this game. So we'll have to wait to see how that line moves. I think it'll hold at 6.5.
Yeah, I was surprised that they pushed that game at Hawaii because I went with Hawaii because New Mexico State was playing their third straight road game. They were at Liberty. Yeah, and then they had their rival New Mexico, which again I can't believe how in the world they were dogs in that game. And New Mexico's trash. I mean, total really bad team. And then you knew at that point they'd lose, but they were up 10 on Hawaii, and Hawaii made that big second half comeback, and I was very surprised that they pushed that game.
That was shocking to say the least. Definitely one of those ones that you don't expect on that college football day. But yeah, anything could happen on the football field, and that was one of those cases.
No, one of those low-scoring game, and it has been that way. Expect from Jerry Kill, a pretty good coach. We've seen him, his time at Minnesota. And of course they got this team into a bowl game. FIU is FIU. That's really what they are. Not
they also give up a lot of yardage, FIU. So I think New Mexico State should be able to score some points in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. All right, here we go. And, of course, it is a bye week here for Mexico State. Obviously, these teams are going to get one here because they're playing this one here midweek. New Mexico State laying the 6.5 against FIU. This one have a start time here, 9 Eastern time over on CBS Sports Network. All right, Brian, let's take a look over at Pickdawgz for a nice action. Of course, it's one game on the board, but, man, we got a big week coming up with baseball playoffs as well as midweek college football. And, of course, heading into the NFL tonight and Thursday, we see some great results from Brian. Hockey's just a week about a week away. What do you have going on over at Pickdawgz Premium?
Definitely excited for all the sports coming up tonight. I got my NFL Titanium play. Yesterday, my one winner was my Titanium play. Hit that one. I also have my Wednesday college football best bet up for you guys for just $25. So make sure you head on over to pickdawgz.com and take advantage of all the sales going on. Definitely 2-for-1 capper special.
That's right, guys. Got to with Brian Biller over at Pickdawgz. You see the great results Brian has put up here over at Pickdawgz. And, of course, you can get on board with Brian. Here we are on a Monday. Perfect time to get that 7-day all sports pass. Get all of Brian's premium plays for 7 days. That'll include the baseball playoffs. This will take you through the wild card round and the beginning of the divisional series, which begins on the weekend. So lots of coverage here on that 7-day pass. All the football, NFL, and college for you as well. Great time to get on board. Remember the promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save that 15% off on that long-term pass. All right, Brian, as always, great having your show. Continue that great work in baseball and the rest of the sports you cover, and we'll talk with you again end of the week.
Hopefully, I can't wait to see you on Friday. Hopefully, then I'm riding some college football winners because I definitely got to pick up the pace. That's my favorite sport. So I'll see you on Friday, hopefully on a winning streak.
Absolutely. Hopefully on a winning streak indeed, because we'll have some volume in there. We'll get some Wednesday, Thursday games in this week. As college football, you start to pack in these midweek games as baseball's everyday schedule has now been diminished here. We get into just a few games here during the postseason and probably just 2 games in prime time. All right, Brian, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again later in the week.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I'll catch you on Friday.
Catch you on Friday indeed. Brian Bittler here on the drive through. All right, let's continue on here on the show. Up next, we're going to bring in David Racey. More college football midweek action, so we'll bring him in right now. Good time to talk about it because sometimes these games get lost in the shuffle, but we're going to be really wired in with these baseball playoffs, but you've got to get a little bit of information here on these midweek games in college football. Can always be a little tricky. Let's bring him in right now. David, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. It's a great time when college football starts these middle-of-the-week games. There's nothing like turn on MACtion. Once we get a little later in October, you get those crazy MAC games. So definitely a fun time to watch some college football.
Yeah, but then we're starting to see Conference USA, the Sun Belt. They're starting to join in. They're starting to join in right now, right? Because all these networks
and they're smart. They're smart because they'll get the TV ratings. During the Saturday, who's going to tune into the game Brian was talking about, or even this one here, right? So getting in those off time slots, I think, is really smart for these smaller conferences.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense, no doubt. All right, here we go. Western Kentucky here on the road to face Louisiana Tech here. We see Western Kentucky favored here, 5.5, the total 59.5.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech comes into this one with a 3-3 record after beating UTEP 24-10 last week. They have wins against FIU and Northwestern State, but have picked up losses to SMU, North Texas, and Nebraska. They've been up and down this season. They've had a couple of, or one quarterback injury. Their starting quarterback is Hank Bachmeier, who was at Boise State. He's dealing with an injury. He didn't even play against UTEP, and he's questionable for this one here. But I like Louisiana Tech at home with the points in this one. Western Kentucky, they're 3-2. They have wins against South Florida and Houston Christian in their first 2 games, but they lost games 3 and 4 of the season to Ohio State and Troy before beating Middle Tennessee last week. But I'm not sold on this Western Kentucky defense. I know their numbers are skewed a little bit from that Ohio State beatdown that they got, but they've allowed quite a few yards. Like that game against South Florida, and I know South Florida is I look at them as a below average team, but they put up almost 550 yards against this Western Kentucky defense. And I just think on the road, a bad defense, I think Louisiana Tech with the points is the play, and I think they could get the win outright, if they play their cards right. So I like Louisiana Tech with the points at home. I just like fading the poor defense.
All right, here we go. We've got with the play here. We'll be on Louisiana Tech here, plus the 5.5 here against Western Kentucky. Of course, Louisiana Tech coming in this one after that win against UTEP, a team that looks like it's a bit of a down UTEP team this year. They haven't really gotten, they started off a little rough here. Of course, Western Kentucky, that loss to Troy. Troy's a tough team to beat because their defense is so good. But Austin Reed is a quarterback. There was some talk that maybe he'd transfer right at the end of the year last year, but he decided to come back to WKU. But he's not been that accurate. When you're facing facing Middle Tennessee State, 58% completion rate is not what you're looking for. 59% against Troy, 58 against USF. You're kind of expecting from this quarterback to be a little better.
Yeah, I think he's taken a little bit of a step back from where he was last year. That's for sure. But, he's done an okay job of not turning the ball over. I think he only has 2 interceptions. So that, he has been inaccurate, but he has protected the ball at a decent rate. But I really don't trust the Western Kentucky defense. Not that Louisiana Tech's defense is anything special. I just don't trust the Western Kentucky defense. And I think Louisiana Tech will get plenty of success here on the offensive side, as their offense has been very average, hasn't been great, but it doesn't have to be great against a defense like this.
Yeah, Louisiana Tech only bringing back 4 starters from last year. I know we don't talk about this much past week 1, but sometimes you got to keep it in mind that some of these players are still rather inexperienced and still figuring some of this out. And this is who they are, right? A team that struggles offensively, giving up 5.1 yards a carry. And one thing with La Tech is they run the ball effectively at nearly 5 yards a carry. There's a strength to exploit a weakness here.
Yeah, for sure. And then when they do go to the air, Louisiana Tech is one of my favorite players to watch. Group of 5 conferences. Smoke Harris is a receiver for the Bulldogs, and he's had a great year. He's up around 40 catches already through 5 games, so he gets plenty of targets, and he's a fun player to watch, plenty of explosiveness. So I expect him to have a big game too. I just like this Louisiana Tech team. Their last 3 games, they're 1-2, but they played North Texas tough. They only lost by 3. And then they went to Nebraska and only lost by 14. I know Nebraska isn't great, but still a Big Ten team. And coming home here against Western Kentucky, I just think it's a good spot. I really do think they could pull off the upset win, too.
All right, home dog here with La Tech, plus 5.5 here against Western Kentucky. This one have a start time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right, David, let's take a look over at Pickdawgz Premium for tonight's action. We know it's the one single game on the board, but we got the baseball playoffs coming up. Also, NFL and college football midweek action as well. We're a week away from hockey. I know you're in the Detroit area, so we'll see how these Red Wings, what they do. What do you have going over the site?
Yeah, I have I got my one play for tonight's Monday night game. Came off the win in the Sunday night game yesterday with the Jets barely hanging on there. Thank you to Patrick Mahomes for sliding there. But it's a great time to head on over to Pickdawgz Premium. Great time to buy the 7-day pass. You get all the midweek college football, the weekend college football, the NFL, and the playoff baseball. So great time to join up over at Pickdawgz Premium.
That's right, guys. Got on board with David Racy over at Pickdawgz Premium. Great time to get on board with David with the long-term passes. Of course, 7-day pass. Try them out with 7 days. Get the baseball playoffs. Get the entire wild card round and bit of the divisional series when you get that 7-day pass. All the football this week. Remember, there's a lot of midweek football, college football, NFL as well. Great time to do it. Pick as a promo code. Save that 15% off. Right, David? As always, great having you show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll catch up with you next week, but we can catch with you up on. We see your videos pop up here on Pickdawgz as well as some of your written work.
Yeah, I'm one of the free pick article writers over at Pickdawgz.com. So you go over to the site, click the free picks tab. You can get a free pick on just about every game. And then, I'm doing some of the preview games here on YouTube. I did, I think 11 college football last week. They went 8-3, so giving out some good winners over on the YouTube channel. So check them out.
Check them out. David's part of the team here over on the video series. Check them out in the free pick videos. Like, subscribe, set notifications, so when those videos drop, you get them right away. they get the best numbers. All right, David, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again next week.
I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you.
As well, David Racy here on the Drive-Thru. All right, let's continue on. Guys, you ever miss a pick? We always recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the Drive-Thru. Looks like up next, we're going to go ahead and bring in. Looks like I've got next up here is Jay. Yeah, we're going to bring Jay in. Jay, we're talking some baseball. Catch him over at Pickdawgz Spring. We'll bring Jay in here in just a second. Let's see. We got his Rangers have to go on the road. They had the division crown in their hands. They had control of their destiny, but they could not get the offense against Seattle there in the final game. And, of course, Houston pounding the Diamondbacks, who looks like they weren't really, could care less if they were 5 or 6 seed. Jay, what's happening?
Yeah, what's happening, Tony T?
Things going great. All right, here we go. Major League Baseball playoffs. We got the Rangers and Rays going head-to-head here in game number 1 of this series. In game 1, the Rays are favored here, minus 146. We see the total of 7.5. Of course, you'll be looking at this one by a series price.
Yeah, so 3-game series in the wild card. I think this is the best wild card series. Let me first say that. Do I understand why the Rays are nice size favorites in this series? I do. They've played really good baseball in the Trop all season. But I'm going to take the Rangers for the series. I am. Here's why. The Rangers offensively are a top 3 team in baseball, and they damn near lead every statistical stat there is in offense this year. The problem with them has been consistency, but the guys that are going to be starting for the Rays, I think that the Rangers can definitely get to. Glass now, he's not, one of the top tier guys when you think of pitching in baseball. Now, do the Rays as a collective have one of the top tier rotations in baseball? I definitely think so. But I think here in this series, the Rangers offense, like I said, one of the best offenses in baseball, can do enough. Jordan Montgomery will get to start in game 1. If you go and look at his stats down the stretch, I challenge you to go find me somebody who pitched better than him down the stretch. I know he's not many people's favorite, but I can make that argument that he has been pitching arguably the best in Major League Baseball, and I think he's going to give them a good chance in round 1, game 1. The last time the Rays played the Rangers earlier this season, granted it was in Texas, but the Rangers swept the Rays 3 straight games. The Rangers lead the series 4-2 currently this year. It was 1-2 in Tampa, but I'm leaning towards the Texas Rangers, and we're getting a great plus money price for the team that should have, like Tony said, won the division. They didn't. I think this series is much closer than the series price indicates, and getting plus money here, I got to take a shot with the Rangers. And I think they can move on and go see Baltimore.
All right, there we go. Jay here on the Rangers to win the ALWS Wildcard Series. Best of 3, all games played in Tampa. This is a home only here in this series, and of course, interesting to note here. Yeah, the way the Rays started the season, if you said they were going to be a wild card team, you'd be very disappointed because everybody had the Rays are off this hot start. They're going to win the World Series, right?
Both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams. If you told both teams in June that they okay, let me say this: coming into the season, had you told both teams that they were going to be in the playoffs, they would have been ecstatic. But in June, had you told both teams that they weren't going to win their division, they would have looked at you crazy. Both teams had some severe stretches of inconsistent baseball. Both teams have lost significant pieces to their team. The Rangers, DeGrom, Scherzer, just a few guys off the top of my head. The Rays, they lost Franco, McClanahan. There's a few guys for the Rays as well. So I think this is a very interesting series, Tony T. And I think the Rangers' offense is better. I think the Rays' pitching is slightly better. And we'll see over how it plays out over these 3 games. But getting plus money with the Rangers, I don't think is a bad place to be.
How does the playoff experience? We're talking about Tampa Bay, a team that has playoff experience. It's Wander Franco, McClanahan, and the other one is Rasmussen, right? Those are the 2 big studs that have been out here for the Rays. These are 2 top-line starters that they're going to have to go into the playoffs without. And of course, we just mentioned the Texas side, right? They've spent some money in DeGrom. Of course, they've spent some money on their pitchers. Didn't come through. They got injured, and of course, The one thing here that's sticking out to me about the Rays, if you look at their ERA in the bullpen around at home, about 3.72. This is a team that was, when they got to the bullpen, were just lights out, especially at home. This is no longer an elite bullpen. Probably sitting more about average right now in baseball.
And I think that's a dangerous place to be against a Texas Rangers offense that can ignite. They didn't ignite against the Mariners to close out the season, which was really disappointing because I thought it was a lock that I was going to get a home playoff game to finally attend. But now we got to go through the road to get there, man. And it sucks, but we'll see if they can get it done. And I definitely think that they have enough between Seager, who I think is arguably the third best player in baseball behind maybe Acuna and Mookie. It might be Seager. And then Marcus Semien, he led the entire Major League Baseball in runs, hits, played all 162. That's probably the best mid-infield you can have. You got a really good Josh Young. This is a deep Rangers team that had a lot of all-stars. Adolis Garcia led the league in RBIs. So if this offense can get to the Rays like I think they can, I think they're going to give themselves a great chance to win the series.
Yeah, the All-Star game looked like a combination of Rays, Rangers against Dodgers and Braves. That's what the All-Star game looked like.
They did.
There you go. Jay on the Rangers to win the AL Wildcard Series against the Rays. So your return here is plus 130. All games played in Tampa. They play these games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No day off. And the winner goes and plays in the divisional series. There will be 4 games, game ones on Saturday. So that's how it plays out. No days off here for these wild card games. You're a wild card team. You're not going to get any days off. That's just how it works in baseball. And they just and this one starts here. Tomorrow's game starts 3 p.m. Eastern time to lead it off on ABC. All right, Jay, let's take a look over at Pickdawgz for tonight's action. Of course, we've got just the football on the board, but it's a busy week as we're getting ready here for the NFL tonight. Of course, college football this week. We got hockey a week away. And it's an interesting day on this Monday, first Monday in October, because this is when the NBA has their media days, and they snap all those pictures. When you see all those stills of the players on TV, this is when they take the pictures, right? And then they talk to the media. LeBron's up on the stage. So today's kind of an interesting day in the NBA because they're about a week away. And actually, no, the NBA preseason starts here on Friday, but you're starting to see NBA is now in the air. So get on board with JJ. What's happening at the site?
Yeah, man, you hit it right on the head. NBA is right around the corner. My Mavs kick it off with the Timberwolves, like you said, Friday. So in preseason, so I'm interested to see that. But over at Pickdawgz Premium, I have my NFL Play of the Night. I absolutely love that play. If you guys want to hop on that, we cashed on our Play of the Day yesterday, so we're trying to go back to back tonight on Monday Night Football. And then I already have 2 baseball plays up tomorrow for playoff action. I love those 2 plays tomorrow, so you guys can hop on both of those over at Pickdawgz Premium. If you get in now, you get 3 plays. So hop on something long term. We got baseball playoffs all week. We got college football midweek. We got a great college football card this weekend. We got Red River Rivalry. Can't wait for that. NFL this weekend. We got the Cowboys and the Niners Sunday Night Football. Hey, it's one of those weeks for the state of Texas, for the city of Dallas, and I'm super excited, and I can't wait to enjoy the week with all you guys. So hop on with me over at Pickdawgz Premium, and let's make some money, man.
What a week of big game action, guys. Get on board with Jay Briggs over at Pickdawgz Premium. Perfect time to get that 7-day pass to the playoff baseball, the big matchups from the NFL, as well as college football. 49-game card this week from college football, but there are some pretty good matchups on the board, so good time to get on board here. That Texas-Oklahoma game looks really, really good, man. It looks really good.
I can't wait for that one.
Oklahoma got posted. They got pounded last year, 49-0. Looking at that.
They might use that rod angle. They might be mad, but Texas is really good. I said on the morning show this morning, I think Texas is the best team in the country, especially with how Georgia has kind of stumbled in certain spots. But it's still early, and we're going to learn a lot about this Texas team this weekend. I cannot wait. Yep,
that's the game everyone's looking at. Of course, people talking up on that Washington State UCLA as well. That's an interesting game. So, guys, get on board with Jay. That 7-day pass is the way to roll. Get on board with all the week action. Pick is a promo code. Save that 15% off. All right, Jay, as always, great having you show. Have yourself a great week. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. But, of course, you got lots going on Pickdawgz. We can catch you on the morning show. There'll be a lot of playoff baseball talk tomorrow. You got to check that out because these games start early, noon Eastern tomorrow. So you want to check out the morning show for all the baseball. And, of course, we've got you do the NFL rundown as well. And, of course, you got to keep your eye on the NBA because your NBA rundown is about 3 weeks away.
3 weeks away. I cannot believe it, man. NBA is back, my baby. But I love it. I can't wait to be talking and have all my lingo back and just be back with all the guys talking some hoops. So that's on the horizon. Like you said, a ton of action for me. You can catch me in the morning with the guys, Chris and Mitch, and throughout the week doing a ton of content here. So I'm all over the place, man. And let's make some money betting sports.
Like, subscribe, send notifications. When these live shows drop, you watch them live and get the information as well as the plays in real time. All right, Jay, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Tony T.
All right, Jay Briggs here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on here on the show. Time to get some Monday Night Football in as well. So let's bring in Brad Francis. You catch him over at Pickdawgz. We'll bring Brad in right now. Hope you're catching this video series here with his parlays on the board. We're ready to roll here with Brad. Set to go. Brad, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Tony? How are we doing today?
Everything's going great. All right, here we go tonight. Seahawks and Giants going head-to-head. 8:15 Eastern time. ABC has it. We've got the Giants dogs here. Seahawks favorite 2.5, total 46, but you'll be looking at this one a little differently.
Yes, sir. Looking at a player prop here, and I absolutely love this one. I'm going Daniel Jones over passing yards. I got at 230.5, whatever you guys could get at. Last time I saw it was like 233. Still take it. To start off, man, the Seahawks, this secondary is banged up. They have two quarterbacks in R.D. Burns and Trey Brown that are out for tonight's game. And to start off, I mean, their passing defense, even with these guys, was bad. Week one, they allowed Matt Stafford 334 yards. Jared Goff, they allowed 323 yards. And the worst one, Andy Dalton, 361 yards. So, I mean, when it comes to Daniel Jones, I mean, he's played some tough defenses this year. He had the week one game against the Cowboys, and then he had last week against the Niners. But when he did play a weaker defense in the Cardinals, he was able to put up 321 yards. With Saquon, most likely not. I don't know if official yet. I saw he was doubtful last time I checked. They're probably going to be more focused on the pass game. I mean, Matt Breida and Gary Brightwell aren't going to win them this game, so it's going to be up to Daniel Jones here, and I like this. I think 230.5 passing yards is just a little bit too low against the Seahawks passing defense.
All right, there we go with Brad here. Danny Jones over 230.5. I just have a feeling this game's going to be nice for the offenses in this game. I'm kind of with you there. Also factor in the extra rest here for the Giants after facing the 49ers. Also to factor in, look at the opponents that the Giants have played, right? They faced the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers, probably the two best, I'll say this, two best defensive teams in the NFC. I think had they had Cleveland on that schedule, that would have been something else, right? With all I know they played Arizona and had that shootout game. But, man, the Giants faced like two top-tier defenses in the 3 games this year.
Exactly. I mean, we don't really even know what the Giants are yet. And I feel like this game we'll be able to tell. But, I mean, any team against the Niners, they're going to look bad. You know, the Cowboys, besides that loss against the Cardinals, they've looked pretty lethal as well. So it's pretty tough. And let me ask you, Tony T, how do you feel about Daniel Jones? I like at this point of his career, do you think he's a solid quarterback? What would you rate him, like 1 through 10, 5 being average?
I think he's probably below average, about 4. You know, with the potential of being a 4, with the potential of being a 6 if he has a strong running game behind him. That's like with any other quarterback, right? An average. Well, he sits up to me below average, but if you give him a running game, I think he can get a little bit above average.
I agree with that. Do you think if he was on the 49ers, they would be undefeated still?
I think so, because the running game will open up a lot of passing. Deebo Samuel, you can throw short, you can go throw long. I think there's a little bit of, I think that the obviously the coaching, the defense is really good in San Francisco, so you're not asked to do too much. You can play with the lead, and playing with the lead is a little different because you can be a little more conservative, play that ball control, and let your defense win games.
Yep, good points. Yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to figure out if it's a Daniel Jones problem or a Giants problem. I mean, they did go to the playoffs last year, but I feel like it's just a hard time, he's a hard guy to get a read on. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, we just kind of read off we read off the schedule, right? And anyone that played the Cowboys, and remember, Cowboys when they were healthy before that big injury, right? If anyone played the same schedule, I mean, a lot of the teams would be 1 and 2. You know, I would have to say that, right? I mean, sometimes it's the scheduling bad luck. Look who you face in your first 3 games of the season, Dallas and the 49ers. Yeah, you get Arizona. Yeah, that's the game that scares everybody, right? The Arizona game, because they were down big but made the comeback late. But many felt you shouldn't have. They didn't need to get to that in that position.
Exactly, yeah. But either way, I think tonight we see a big Daniel Jones night.
Yeah, could factor that way. Actually, we haven't checked the weather. I know the weather had been bad in New York. Of course, remember we had all those rainouts and stuff. Let me just take a quick look at the weather. It's something we haven't checked yet here in New York. Of course, that's the stadiums out there. If you get the wind, we're in the autumn now. We're now in autumn, so sometimes that wind can swirl. Let me go ahead and pull up what the latest weather report says for this game. Haven't seen the total is 46, so I can just guess it's probably okay, but I just want to make sure we don't get any surprises here with the weather. And it looks fine, 70 degrees, light winds. So this is perfect offensive football weather.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, there we go. So we got good weather. Of course, it was bad weather. We had all that rain in New York with the flooding and whatnot, but it looks like sunshine, 0% chance of precipitation. So perfect conditions right now in New York. Should help the offenses. Daniel Jones over 230.5 or more. 233 says it's okay too as well. This game tonight, 8:15 Eastern time. All right, Brad, let's take a look over at Pickdawgz. Remember tonight, as we said, single game tonight here from the NFL. Of course, we're not too far away from the baseball playoffs. Big week of football, hockey next week, and we got a few weeks away from NBA. What do you have going over at Pickdawgz Premium?
Yeah, I got to play in the Monday night game tonight that I absolutely love. So go check that out on the site. It's $15 up there. Swept the board in the NFL yesterday, so looking to keep it up with this one. And, of course, the long-term passes are the way to go.
Absolutely, guys. Get those long-term passes. That's the way to go. Get on board here with Brad Francis over at Pickdawgz Premium. Good time to get on board with Brad with that 7-day pass. We've been talking about that because you'll get all of Brad's premium plays here for 7 days. Includes all the baseball playoffs here. That includes the entire wild card round. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Gets you into the divisional series rounds, which begins next weekend. You see the great results from Brad over the past 7 days. So get on board with Brad Francis Pickdawgz Premium. Use that promo code PICK at checkout. Save that 15% off. Multi-capper promotions as well. Even greater value there. All right, Brad, as always, great having you on the show. See you that success. We'll catch up with you later in the week. But let everybody know they can also catch your video series here on Pickdawgz.
Yes, sir. Yep, dropped the parlay videos the day before the game, so just posted mine for tomorrow's MLB game, so be sure to check that out. And then I got my Monday Night Football parlay video up there. All three of the legs are in the NFL. We hit our parlay on Sunday, we hit our parlay on Saturday, so let's try to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, make it 3 in a row indeed, guys. Get on board here with Brad Francis over at Pickdawgz Premium. You see the great results that Brad has put up, so get on board with him right now and use that promo code. And of course, check out his video series. When they drop, you get them right away. Use that, subscribe, and set notifications. All right, Brad, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again later in the week.
All right, thank you, Tony. Have a good luck tonight.
You as well. Brad Francis here on the drive through. Let's continue on here. Up next, Javon Burtz. Catch him over at Pickdawgz Premium. We're getting some football coverage from Javon. We'll get him ready to roll here with Javon. Javon, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the game tonight. Baseball playoffs start tomorrow, so looking forward to that. Tonight, Seahawks, Giants going head-to-head. Still, Seahawks road favorites, 2.5. That line has jumped. I saw a point and a half. Actually, the sharpest book in the world held 1.5 for a while. They were behind everybody. Everybody was 2. They were 1.5, but they are enjoying the crowd right now. Seahawks 2.5 here, total 46. But again, you'll be looking at this one a little differently.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to look at a player prop, specifically Matt Breida. Now, you would think that with the loss of Saquon Barkley to his injury, that Matt Breida would get a lot more touches, a lot more opportunities on the field to rush the ball. Well, last game against the 49ers, that didn't happen. Now they're facing a Seattle Seahawks team who gives up 2.9 yards per rush and 79 yards per game. Of rushing against. That doesn't bode well for Matt Breida, and for him, I don't think he's going to get the touches to even threaten to get over his total yardage, which is, I believe, set at 44 right now. At least it was on DraftKings. Now, this is gonna be one of those Daniel Jones earn your money games. He's gonna be throwing the ball a lot, rushing the ball a lot when the pocket collapses and he has to scramble. So, and here's another point. Seattle, while they're tough on the run, they're not tough on the against the pass. So this all sets up pretty nicely for a Matt Breida under rushing yards.
All right, there we go. Javon here. Matt Breida under 44 rushing yards. tonight. And of course, we talked about earlier, the weather makes it great conditions here to pass the football. Very little wind whatsoever, 70 degrees. It's an autumn day, but I think it really helps the passing offenses today. And of course, exactly right? The Giants have had that extra time to study the Seahawks secondary. They saw the game against the Carolina Panthers. They saw the game against the one against Detroit Lions. And you saw all the points Seattle gives up, so maybe their ability there they can exploit.
Yeah, and quite frankly, a lot of that's through the air.
Yep.
It's not on the run. When they outside of last game, they haven't been able to get a pass rush. So I believe Daniel Jones, while he might get pressured, it's a good chance he'll get pressured in this game. I think the ball's going to be in his hands a whole lot. And if anything, Matt Breida is going to, get some of those swing passes in the flats,
Yep.
try to get it shaken over there, so get some receptions. But as far as rushes, last game he had 4 rushes. Matter of fact, his backup, Gary Brightwell, he had 4 rushes. In total, they only had 11 rushes in the game. So, like I said, it's not going to be many opportunities to run the ball. And I don't think Seattle's going to give it up on the ground. But they'll give it up in the air.
There we go. We got Javon here, Matt Breida, under 44 rushing yards. Tonight's game, 8:15 Eastern time. All right, Javon, let's take a look over at Pickdawgz for tonight's action. Of course, we got football on the board, baseball playoffs. 4 games tomorrow in the playoffs for Major League Baseball. We got that midweek college football as well. Big week coming up with college football, NFL, baseball. See great results over the last 7 days from Javon. 974 units of profit. What do you have going over at Pickdawgz Premium?
Yeah, only got one play. That's the Monday Night Football game. My Monday Night Mayhem is popping off, in about a little bit over an hour. So check me out on that. You can also check me out on my 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, yearly. Also match me up with one of the other handicappers at Pickdawgz for the 2-for-1 cap promotional and some of the other fine opportunities that we have on the website. It's all here at Sports Chat Place in Pickdawgz. Let's get it.
Let's get it indeed, guys. Come over with Javon Burtz over at Pickdawgz Premium. He's been great results here. You see the numbers, 974 units of profit. Great results here from Javon. Get on board with the long-term pass. We're talking about the 7-day pass. You can do that. Get all of Javon's premium plays for 7 days. All the football, the baseball playoffs. That'll take you into the entire wild card round, which ends Friday. It starts again ends Thursday. Starts again here on Friday, as we get the division leaders or division winners into action on the weekend. And of course, all the football. Pick there's a promo code. You'll save 15% off. Add multi-cappers with the multi-packer promotion. Even greater value there. Right, Javon, as always, great having you show. Continue that great success, and we'll catch up with you again here on end of the week and see what happens when you return to the drive-thru. The numbers go way up.
Hey man, much appreciated. I'm only here to give the people what they want, which is winners.
Absolutely.
I'll do that.
There you go. Javon Burtz here on the drive-thru. Have a great night. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Let's bring in Rod Zawacki. Catch him over at Pickdawgz Premium. Got some more baseball coverage from Rod, and we'll bring him in ready to go here. Always great to us here on the show. Rod, what's happening?
Not too much. Quiet day. Feels a little weird. Only one game tonight, but hey, it is what it is. A little break to deep dive these baseball playoff series that are coming up, and as I said, early week college. Looking at some of that, and definitely lots of sports action ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I kind of like
have
this.
hockey back on the ice.
Yeah.
Then a little staggered. You get the NBA, and a little staggered again. We get college hoops. So.
The NBA preseason is always fun to watch because, the NBA preseason begins on Friday, and then we get Saturday, and then we get into a big card next week. But it's interesting to see how these new players play together. I think the key word now you hear is chemistry, right? These new acquisitions always want to see how they play with each other on the court.
Exactly, right? You want to see how these new acquisitions gel together. I think maybe NBA does a little better than the NHL because I don't think there is really much of a dress rehearsal in the NHL. They have the odd game that they play a few more of the starters, but full rosters going, what they would start an opening night in the preseason, not so much in the NHL. NBA, a little more, they'll start a few more starters than what they do, but I think you get a lot of... Preseason's tough. I'm not going to be jumping in. You don't expect that. That's the thing. You got to watch. Make sure you're seeing. We know what the NBA is like in the lineup reports and who's in and who's out.
Right.
What do you think it's going to be like this preseason? I'm kind of getting scared.
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with practice. I think NHL addresses practice a little differently. They go hard in practice, and then they kind of just look at the young guys, almost like the NFL, right, where they look at the young guys in the games, whereas the NBA, the NBA guys are just stretching and pretty much practicing their shots. You don't see a whole lot of wear and tear on those legs in practice.
No, exactly right. They don't practice as much. They play more in game time because they don't get as rough in the NBA game time. NHL, same thing. They're not. You're not out to crush each other on the ice in preseason. Don't expect the hits to be at 30 hits a game, and don't expect the shots to be at 40 shots a game either, because they're definitely not doing that early in the season. NHL, lots of young guys fighting for positions, getting starts, and that's why you see some of these upsets.
And veteran goalies sit a lot, right? They sit a lot. The veteran goalies.
Some of them, they'll get a start here and there. Like they want to get warmed up too, so they'll come in. Some of them just to play a couple periods, full games. Yeah,
and just the injury. And a heads up on the Tampa Bay goalie situation. There's some injury news already early on.
Yeah, well, it just makes no sense to me why Vasilevsky got the surgery done when he did. Like he just got it done last week. Why didn't he get it done at the end of the season? You guys have been out.
That's the old NBA adage. They don't. See, I will say this: the worst thing for a professional athlete is to have to rehab an injury during the off season. That is the worst thing. They've played an entire season. You got all this money, and now you got to report for treatment, do the rehab, and it's like not even having an off season.
It's like when you were in school and you had to go to summer school and all the other kids are out playing in the playground, right? And you're stuck at summer school inside and you see all the kids outside and you're stuck inside.
That happened a lot in the NBA where guys would come back and need injuries and stuff. Like they would not report their injuries and they would not get their. Oh, I'm gonna get a second opinion, maybe a third, and before you know it, the season begins. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and have my surgery. That's back in the Shaq years. That was that happened a lot. That happened a lot. These guys wanted to party with their money. Can't blame them. Actually,
so yeah. So Tampa Bay starting behind the 8 ball, no Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Just kick off the season. So I think Tampa Bay early bet. Tampa Bay does not make the playoffs.
Oh, there you go. Early one from Rod. Some big NHL news hitting here that just hit the wire yesterday. And also, Brendan Armstrong will be benched. NC State quarterback, who I don't like. They're going to bench him. I find I not like him. I'm real critical of him. I remember someone gave him out the other day, and that game pushed, and I was like, I don't know about Armstrong, man. I don't know about this guy. He wasn't. So he's benched.
Yeah, he's looked good in spots, but he definitely looked good, not good in other spots.
Yep. So MJ Morris, this came across right now, will start for NC State. So quarterback change at NC State. So those of you that are handicapping, here's the information you guys like that we'll give you. All right, here we go. Series between the Blue Jays and the Twins. The Twins division winners. It looks like they were kind of all the way to the end. The Guardians had some bad luck with their pitching rotation with McKenzie and Bieber. It kind of paved the way for the Twins to kind of have that easy lead and take it home. Against the Blue Jays, had to fight to be here, right? Baltimore ran away with the division. The Rays had a good start. The Blue Jays, in many people's eyes, have underperformed. With all this talent, they should have been better than they did, but this is where you're at. You're on the road against the Twins at 4:30 Eastern time. We see Twins favored in Game 1, but you'll be looking at this one a little differently.
Yeah, for me, we're going to look at the series in this, and we look at Game 1, and we'll start with Game 1. This first Game 1 right here, we're going to get Gausman on the mound for the Blue Jays, taking on Lopez. And you look at Lopez and what he's done over the last 5 weeks. Well, sure, he's pitched not so bad, but he's given up 3 runs in 3 starts. And that was against Oakland, the Angels, and the White Sox. The only good offense he's faced in the last 5 weeks was Texas. And we know what Texas did to him. They roughed him up really good. 5 runs, 10 hits. Lopez started for the Twins is a tough spot here. I think the Blue Jays pounce on him and get that early Game 1 lead. Gausman, we've seen last time out, the Blue Jays did take the loss in his start, but man, he's pitched lights out. Game 2, probably going to be Bassett versus, I believe, Sonny Gray for the Twins in Game 2. So, Jays, I think, have an advantage there. You look at the Jays starting pitching overall. They're third in the MLB with an xFIP that is third in the MLB in starting pitchers. So their starting pitchers have been great.
Yep.
5th in the MLB in strikeout rate, 9.8 per 9 innings. 4th in walks, only giving up 3.2 per 9 innings. And on the other side, you look, the Twins are hit or miss. They either boom, and they're hitting the ball as they make great barrel contact with the ball. So when they're hitting, they are scoring runs. So I kind of like the over. We might see some runs. But when they are not making good contact, they're striking out. They lead the league, the MLB, in strikeout rate, and the Blue Jays definitely strike out in team or players at a high rate. So for me, in this, you know what? The Jays have underperformed, but it's time to the playoffs. We see them as they were coming into the playoffs. Those bats are starting to roll, and you know what? They've had to play. They're going to have to play all 3 of these games of this series in Minnesota. But you know what? The Jays on the road, 46-35 on the year. Only 6 teams in the MLB with a winning record on the road this season, and the Jays are one of those. And their numbers actually get better on the road, hitting-wise and run-wise. Take the Blue Jays to win this series and move on.
All right, we're out here on the Jays to win the series here, minus 105. And, of course, Pablo Lopez is someone I kind of studied here in this spot. Now, he has pitched 194 innings. That's a lot for him. And I don't know. Actually, let me go ahead and put up his numbers. I don't think he's gone this far in his career. Remember, he was with Miami for a long time, and Miami never really pushed. They never went into the postseason. I don't know if they pushed their guys this long, but I'm going to take a look here at Pablo Lopez to see how many innings he's worked, because that seemed like a huge workload for him. And what we've seen here, as you said, the past few starts has not been really good.
No, and Lopez has not been good. I faded him early on in the season. He did have a middle stretch there where he actually picked things up and actually pitched a little better. But coming down the stretch, he hadn't faced anybody. And like I said, he faced that Texas offense, and similar to the Jays, he got crushed. Gave up 5 runs, 10 hits, and I think the similar could happen here very quickly. Gausman might actually get some run support in this one, which is what I'm picturing happen, and I think Jays open up to a 1-0 series lead.
Lopez pitched here last year 180 innings, and prior to that 102 and 57 and 111. So he's never been at this level. So this is the concern here for Pablo Lopez. And let's see, last year at the end of the season, he pitched September 27th. There wasn't really much there, although he had a pretty good finish. Although he did give an 8 spot against the Mets. I'm going into 2022 here, looking at his starts here, but. Yeah, it's not been good. 3 against Oakland, 3 against the Angels, 5 against the White Sox. But, it's one of those series here where, Lopez, he got all his accolades coming over. But, man, like we said, it hasn't been sharp. The Twins bats. Here's the thing. The Blue Jays have been playing playoff type of pressure here the entire month, where the Twins pretty much knew where they were headed.
Yeah, and coasted into the playoffs, right? They were in the awful division, in that awful Central Division there, and they cruised to this win. You look, Blue Jays are still 2 games better, finished 2 games ahead of the Twins, but the Twins win the division, so this is where we stand. I think the Blue Jays are the better team.
At home, Lopez an ERA of 4.30. Gausman on the road, 3.27, whip of 1.19. So Gausman has actually pitched well on the road. All games will be on the road here for the Blue Jays. That probably helps them, as you said.
And that helps them because they're one of the 6 teams in the MLB that have a winning record on the road this season. 46-35 on the road, and even their batting numbers, run wise. You look over this last month, heading into this final stretch, heading into this wild card series. The Jays actually scored 23 runs last series heading into it versus the Rays. So that offense has definitely seen some sparks where it's looking like they're starting to turn things around. And I think that's what happens here. They're ready to feast on Lopez to get the bats going to kick off the series. And I think it just continues right on. I think this could be a really quick series. I don't even think the Twins get one. I like the under 2.5 games as well.
That would help the Twins with pitching staff, right? All games this year, Toronto averaged 4.6, hitting 256, but on the road, they're averaging 5 runs a game. And 263 hitting. So that's a huge discrepancy there, how much better they play on the road. No doubt about that. And, of course, interesting to note here with the Twins, although they do have 13 games over 500 at home, there are negative units this year.
Negative units.
Minus 4.6 units because they play in such a weak division. They've been big favorites, so when they take losses, they're usually big chalk.
Big chalk. See, and look, they're getting chalk already.
Minus 9 units against right-handed starters are the Minnesota Twins, and now they're facing. I'd like to see how they are against winning teams. That's the key here because they faced a lot of bad teams this year. in that division. So let me see if we can figure out anything here on this Toronto. Look for some kind of edge here for this Toronto Blue Jays here in game. As Rod says, what's the sweep? What does the sweep pay? For the Jays to win in 2 games, or maybe you just do a progressive parlay where you take game 1 winning and roll it into game 2. Probably better than doing that. If you think they're going to sweep the
you could do that too, right? Yeah, but I don't have a price right here off of hand.
It's usually better if you just roll it over. It's usually better that way. Okay, here we go.
You're getting a nice plus price on this first game 1, right? So I would take the plus money in there in game 1 and then roll it over into game 2. And as you said, I think the price is better. The
price is usually better. Yeah, there are some definite positive trends here. Toronto 30-21 on the road against winning teams. They face a lot of them. Remember that AL East, you're in dogfights all the time. Although they did not have the greatest divisional record, but outside the division, I would definitely say much better because they did not play well in the division this year.
No, but if you look down the stretch, they did. They turned things around against the division down the stretch. Did the Blue Jays? They had to make this playoffs. They played a bunch of divisional rounds, like sweeping Texas, and then the Rays. They did well coming down the stretch, and it's what they did. I think they went 8-2. I think against the division. Yeah, coming down the stretch, definitely they've improved there. But the Jays on the road are definitely been playing better, surprisingly.
Yep. Yeah, that division's tough, right? You got the Baltimore in there, the Rays, and you got the Blue Jays. 3 teams from the AL East are in the playoffs, so that tells you something. So that means they played against really good competition. Gausman has been money on the road. 18-7 plus 11 units on the road against winning teams. That's over the past 3 seasons. So when he's going up against good teams, he's come through.
He's come through, yeah. He's come through all along. It's just then the Jays have not been clutch. And got him enough run support. Like, how many games this season that he's lost by like 1 run, 2 runs late in the game? That he goes, well, he does his job, but the Jays' just offense hasn't done it for him. And you know what? This Jays' offense looking like they're starting to click and they're starting to get happy and they're looking like they're starting to gel. And it might be starting to gel at the right time.
All right, yeah, that's a light schedule, so we don't need to rush off the air by any means. Our game doesn't start for another hour, so I'll have some extra time here with Rod. Of course, we're going to take a look. We're going to be looking at, there's some things we can talk about. We got some CFL lines. But I want to get here in this series here, which we predicted this, and it finally happened, right? Liberty and Aces, but we got to wait for a while for this stuff for game 1 here. Liberty and Aces in Vegas. Aces are going to be favored 4.5 in game 1. Early look at this one, total 172.
Yeah, and you look, the Aces will be the rest of the team. They had to play 1 less game to get to this spot. The Liberty had to play the extra game against the Suns to get to the spot. But rest advantage is, as they say, we're still 6 days away from this game. So rest advantage. But this is going to be revenge. We know the Commissioner's Cup, the Liberty came in and they got the job done. But when it counts and when the big prize is out there, the championship, the Aces at home are going to be tough. I would take the Aces to win game 1.
Rod says take Aces here to win game number 1 here in this one. We'll talk more about this. Actually, it's going to be the weekend game, right? We're looking. They're going to play this on Sunday. Going up against the NFL on Sunday. Oh my God! Why?
Yeah, why?
We got nothing going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Why go up against the NFL? Why?
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. You could put it any of these days. This week, Tuesday would have been good. Tuesday, there's only 4 MLB going. 2 of them are day games. You could have put this at night. I don't know. I want to give them the rest to. They need a week off, maybe.
Oh my goodness, that is
tough playoff schedule.
Woo. Yeah,
that rigorous tough playoff schedule.
ESPN, ABC will televise it, but man, you're going up against the NFL. You're going up against the NFL. Oh my goodness, I don't know what the hell they're thinking
in the middle
of.
In the afternoon, right in the middle of 1 o'clock games. Yeah, good luck.
Jeez, I mean that's again. I mean I could understand. Of course, Sunday night football, you can do a late night. It's tough to do because you got a New York audience, so you can't do those late night games too late. Because my New York cries if they have to stay up. Man, if they start these West Coast games, they start them at 10 Eastern. They cry like a baby, man. But anyway, Rod, they finally listened to us, Rod. They gave us CFL lines for our segment. So Edmonton and Toronto, we see the opener here. Toronto laying 14.5, total 49.5.
Toronto laying 14.5. Unbelievable. We just seen Toronto Argonauts play their backup quarterback. They did give Winnipeg quite a fight with sitting a whole bunch of their starters, but this Edmonton Elks team has been improved. They will be playing all their starters. That offense is starting to roll. That's just disrespecting the Elks on the road. Toronto has no interest in this game. They're locked into first in the East. They've won first in the East, hands down. They will get the bye in the first round of the playoffs in the CFL. Take the Elks plus the 14.5.
There you go. Winnipeg.
That's an easy one this week.
Easy one from Rod on this. This is their action on the 6th here. We got Winnipeg and BC on the road here on the West Coast team. This game opened to pick 'em, total 51.5.
Yeah, of course it's a pick 'em, right? Coin flip game. Take the over. I think we see points. We've seen Winnipeg offense definitely been putting up the points. BC scored into the 30s last week. I think both of these offenses have shined. It's one of those late Friday night games where we see lots of offense. I think both teams get into the 30s and we get over the total. And I lead Winnipeg in that one as well. I like the over as the best play there. Take the over.
Single game here on Saturday. For Eastern has Hamilton at Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan opens for total 49.5.
Right. This is two teams that have just been struggling. Saskatchewan struggling a little more. This Hamilton team, I think they come into Saskatchewan and snag themselves a win. Give me the Tiger Cats on that one.
All right, there we go. And of course, we got a Monday afternoon game here, 1 Eastern time. Ottawa and Montreal going head to head here. We see this one open Montreal 6.5, total 50.5.
Yeah, Monday, October 9th, there'll be Canadian Thanksgiving, so it's a Thanksgiving game. That's the reason why it's on the Monday. And I'm going to go with Ottawa, or with Montreal. Ottawa on the road has not been good. Montreal, they've got two running backs that are solid, and at home, they're playing really well. And I think Montreal needs this to get that home, to stay in third and get that playoff spot. So take Montreal in this one.
There you go. Okay, Arad, we got hockey in a week. The NHL preseason winding down, right? Not too many days left as we drop the puck a week from tomorrow. Anything you looked at in NHL preseason?
Tonight, I like the Seattle Kraken. As you see, I started the show wearing the Seattle Kraken hat. They are playing my Edmonton Oilers tonight. But the last game, the Oilers played all their stars against the Canucks. The last game they played in the preseason. Not in this one. This one, we'll see a whole bunch of former Oilers playing this one at Burley. There's about 5 guys that used to play on the Oilers that will play in this one. So they'll have a little motivation to beat the Oilers. Hey, you let us go? Fine, we're going to beat you here in the preseason. It is what it is. Take the Seattle Kraken. I think that's the best bet on the board. The other ones, there's a couple odds. I kind of like the Devils over the Islanders. I don't want to lay minus 135 with the Islanders, so I sprinkle a little bit on the Devils as well. If you want, parlay those two up. Take the Devils and the Seattle Kraken, and we can see if we can hit our third straight preseason NHL parlay 2-teamer. We hit them both last week, so let's start with that. We'll go with the Devils and the Kraken tonight.
So we open the NHL season a week from tomorrow. Are all the games in North America, or do we have any games outside of North America?
I think they're all in. Let me see. I don't think we have any outside. I think they did the Global Series already. I think they.
That was preseason, right? Was it Canadian? It was a Coyotes Kings. Okay, so
I believe because I think last year they thought they did it as to try it out as a couple of regular season games, and I think they were like, no, we'll still do the Global Series, but we'll make them preseason games. Yeah, because they figured it wasn't fair to teams to be. In that type of showcase to make those count as a regular season game.
It's tough because you're trying to run your training camp locally and then fly out there and then you have time off. It's a weird situation to have to do that.
It is, yes, especially. It's like the Jags they get to stay in London and play next week too. Well, they play better in London, so maybe they want to make that their new home.
It's more like soccer, where the soccer teams come out here in their preseason and play these, the international teams here in the U.S. and then they go back to Europe and play the regular schedule. That's how it rolls there. All right, so we got the peripherals in from Rod here on a Monday, but it's not slow in action because we got 4 baseball games to sink our teeth in for tomorrow. So this is kind of our little study here, looking at these games, a little bit of handicapping on the fly, which I like doing. It was a lot of fun with the same one as always with Rod.
Opening night in the NHL. Yeah. If your book still offers you that line that shows Nashville as a plus money favorite or a dog in that opening night against Tampa at home in the Amalie Arena, I would take Nashville.
Tell us about the backup goalie there for Tampa Bay. About the backup goalie here. Vasilevsky going to be out for a while with that surgery.
It should be Elliott
Elliott?
and take up the job, so he should be pretty good for Tampa in goal. He's definitely a serviceable goalie, taking over for Vasilevsky. But I think Nashville. I think you look at the guys that are on Tampa. They've how many runs to the cup have they made?
Yeah.
Over the last how many seasons?
Wears out.
You start to get tire out. You start to wear. And then injuries are already starting to add up with you losing your starting goalie. It's gonna be a tough year for Tampa, I think. And everybody always gets the best. They see Tampa and they're like, we want to give our best, so they give 200% against you, and it's tough. You take a beating.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yep, and you're Florida based, so that means you're going to log in the extra travel to Canada, the West Coast, the Midwest. So you get hit with a lot of travel mileage when you're any other coast, especially the West Coast. But any other coast is tough in the NHL when you have to make that travel. All right, we got the peripherals in from Rod. Just to remind you here on his pick, he likes the Jays to win the ALWS against the Twins at -105. All right, Rod, let's take over at Pickdawgz for tonight's action. We know there's one game from the NFL, but of course, baseball playoffs coming up a week from hockey as well. Rod, great results here last 3 days. 1,152 units of profit, all sports combined. What do you have going on over at Pickdawgz Premium? Also, great work in NFL.
Yeah, good start to the NFL season. I had a tough day yesterday with 2-5, but those days happen. So looking for this nice bounce back on this Monday nighter, which is my 10-star play of the day. Love that play in tonight's Monday night action. So I head on over, scoop it up. My 10-star play of the day has been rolling along for the last 3 months. Up big units there. So jump on it, or as we say, this big loaded week of action. Now's the time to grab a 3-day, 7-day, or even that 30-day pass. And join me as we continue to crush the bookies in both NFL, college football, and then hockey's right around the corner. I can't wait. Add that into the package of grab my 30-day pass. Use that promo code PICK at checkout. Save 50% off. Join me for the month. You'll get the start of the hockey season, more NFL, more college football, and maybe a few NBA preseason.
A few weeks, NBA starts the 24th. So that 30-day pass, you're going to get about a good 8 days of NBA.
Yep, exactly. So definitely 30-day pass is the way to go. Join me for the month, and let's continue to crush the bookies. As you see, for the last 2 months, we've been rolling right along. Last 30 days, last 60 days, we've been up. So join me. We've been hot.
Yeah, look at the combined units for Rod in NFL and college football this year. It's been fantastic, approaching 900 units of profit. So great results from Rod. Get the 1 month pass. That's the best value, especially now with all these sports overlapping right now. Baseball playoffs. This will take you to the World Series Game 7 is scheduled, I believe, for the early part of November. So you'll probably get up to Game 6, maybe even Game 7, and I have to go back and look at this schedule. I believe November 1st is Game 7 of the World. So this covers the entire World Series with that 1 month pass. So you're covered there for the World Series. So get that 1 month all sports pass. The entire baseball playoffs now we can save for the 30 days. And of course all the football. And of course Rod's hockey and NBA, which will be also part of that 30-day passes. We have all these sports overlapping. All right, Rod, as always, great having you show. Continue that success, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate everybody. Smash that like button. That way you get notified when all the content gets released. So much content over here at Pickdawgz with all the cappers and video series. Tony will attempt to name them all at the end.
Yes,
he's got it down better than I do. I'm going to try to get it.
Well, next week I got to add another one with the NHL with your NHL series.
Yeah, with the NHL. Yeah, see, you're going to add more in there, and always add more. See, you never know what's going to pop up. There might be something that you might be missing. See.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Like, subscribe the way you get notified when all that content gets released, and you get the best of the number with us. Appreciate it.
Do you get into NHL player props? You get into NHL player props too?
Of course, I like NHL player props. Anytime goal scorers, overshot totals. I like the overshot totals. You can usually find some good spots where you know that the snipers are going to get their shots where they average 3-4 shots a game, and you can find some nice edges there that the books don't always play close attention to those shot totals.
Yeah, and how do you handle line changes when teams get off to a slow start, they hit slumps, and the coaches start mixing up the lines? What do you do there when they start mixing the lines up?
See, I'm fine with that. For me, I'd rather have a good solid goalie. If you got a good solid goalie in the back, changing the lines just means a lot more offense on. You're just trying to create. Usually, when they're changing up the lines, your offense is low. I kind of lead the hundreds. When teams are trying to change up the lines, it means they're struggling to score goals. So I lean to unders. When you hear about teams that are struggling, I lean to an under versus those teams because they're struggling to put the puck in the back of the net.
Yeah.
It happens lots.
Yeah.
Teams get streaky where they score goals in bunches, and then like anything else, they score goals coming to premium where they have it tough. So yeah, when teams are all in disarray, I like unders.
What happens when you get into the top line or a top two lines when someone gets injured off that top line? How does that impact the rest of the lines, and how do they replace players that are from the, let's just say a centerman from the line 1, line 2 gets hurt? How does that substitution? How does that impact the rest of the lines when they do this, when they have to replace the guy?
For me, I most of the time they practice this. They practice this regularly because they have power plays in the NHL where you have a power play unit with 3 different guys, and you might take 3 guys you might take 1 guy from the first line, 1 guy from the second line. You might take 2 guys from the second line, 1 from the first to make up that power play unit. A really good team, the next man up will step up to that first, the line 1 and step into the injured guy's position, and you can move it around. It usually more, I find, when a top guy gets hurt, it affects your third line and your fourth line guys, because then you have to try to find somebody else so you can get your solid 3 lines, 4 lines. Stanley Cup teams that win have 3, 4 lines going regularly.
Yeah,
because that next man up mentality in hockey is huge, because you need the next guy up, and then you get your chance to play on the first line with McDavid. So how could you not be happy to play on the first line,
your
right?
Stats pad up.
You get the exactly. So in hockey, I don't take it as a big assault when that big top guy gets hurt. Usually you see teams step up, and then teams know that they need to step up, and they put a little more effort into those in hockey, I find.
Yeah. All right. You got to get that information, knowledge there from Rod, because a lot going on in hockey. You know, there's 4 lines, and of course something happens. You always, they're going to change lines, and how does that impact the game? And of course, backup goalies, Rod. What percentage of games do these starters? Obviously it's an 82 game schedule. Do we usually in back-to-backs? We usually see the backup goalie, but do we ever see situations where they just make changes and put the backup goalie when there's not a back-to-back spot?
Oh yes, of course. We've seen this so many times in the NHL where the morning skates, a goalie will come out and tweak a muscle, and next thing you know, he's not playing. And you think that starter is going to start, and you get a backup in there. It happens quite a few times in the NHL where we've even seen where teams have been struggling where they last season where they didn't have a starter, they didn't have a backup, and they had to call guys up from junior team to get up to play in goalie positions. So, and we've even seen the rare occasion where the Zamboni driver steps in and still steps into that nice spot and beats the Toronto Maple Leafs. So hey, it happens where sometimes
every team
goalie every
game. I would say every team has an emergency goalie that's local, right?
Yeah, always. And sometimes they just put him in there just for as a near the end of the season last year. The Oilers put a U of A goalie, and they called him up locally as a local guy. Hey, you get to come play with the Oilers, and he came and played, the third period at the last 10 minutes, I believe. He played. Yeah. So
it's hard because it's a winter sport and you can't fly. Sometimes you can't fly guys, especially some of these minor league teams. They're in really rural areas. There aren't any airports. You got to drive them to the airport, and sometimes you got to find a flight. Especially in the winter, it's tough to get the flights out.
It is, yeah. So then you always have a guy at the local arena who is the on-call goalie. But hey, one of these teams in the goalie. Okay, we got one. We call a guy up. He'll come up and suit up for you. It happens a few times. I've seen it.
I can't believe a defenseman wouldn't say, "I can't believe it. Just give me the goalie. I'll play goalie." I can't believe the
I'll play goalie, right?
Yeah, I can't believe hockey a macho sport. I would think a defense, but just give me the pads. I'll play goalie, right?
I block enough shots. I can get in there. Just give me the pads. Get me in there. No big difference. I can get in there.
Yeah.
I am surprised.
I'm very surprised that it's something that surprised me indeed. All right, Rod. All right.
We don't have like a Hotani who's the big goal scorer, and then he also plays goal.
We see it like in baseball.
I won 20 games and I scored 20 goals. How do you like them happen?
There you go. There you go. I like that would be interesting if we ever saw that happen. But anyway, all right, Rod. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
You as well, Tony. Good luck with your bet tonight on the Monday Nighter.
That's right.
And we'll catch you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Rod Zawacki here on the drive through. I will continue on here on the show, guys. We'll recap at the end of the show. Nothing going off here at this hour. It doesn't start for another hour for the Monday night game. So that's why we kind of went a little long here. Want to get some information here. Good time to talk some of these series. Getting ready for the NHL season. I want to get some of the questions in, get you guys ready for the start of the season because, hockey comes, it's maybe new to you. I know betting's legalized, right, over the past couple of years, and some of you are getting into hockey, and we want to make sure you get the right information and make sure you dot your I's, cross your X's, and dot your I's, and make sure you guys have the right information. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-through. We're going to get to my game right now. We're going to go here player prop in this one, Seahawks, and we see here still 2.5 on the Seahawks. The total sits here at 46. We told you it's great weather in New York, 70 degrees, light winds, perfect weather, perfect passing weather, and it's a perfect weather for Daniel Jones to get over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 140. Again, it's been talked about how bad the Seattle Seahawks. Again, Andy Dalton, they got 27 points. I think Daniel Jones can do enough here to get 2 touchdown passes in this game because I don't expect a whole lot of running attempts, but I do see a lot of yak in this game. What is yak? Yards after catch. So I can see a situation where maybe a little dump off screen, pass over the middle. The way the Seahawks defenders have been, I could see a runner catch and run for a touchdown, and of course maybe a red zone touchdown here and there. But I still think I see a potential for a big play here from both teams. I just don't think it's on the Giants or Seahawks. I just see it on both teams. Potential for some big plays today. The weather's perfect for that, and I like the plus money here on the Daniel Jones. But forget what you think about it. Remember, he had to go up against Dallas and San Francisco in the first 2 games. Okay, and many quarterbacks are going to look terrible in those games. Remember, they had that little comeback against Arizona. Maybe the Seahawks defense is that as bad as Arizona's defense, right? But their offense is much better, right? The Seahawks. I could see this to be. I could see both offenses going off here. I wouldn't be surprised if you go over on Gino, over on Daniel, and you probably would, if you on the major categories, you'd probably come out ahead in a game like today, especially with the weather conditions right now in New York, the way it looks. So we'll go over Daniel Jones, get the plus 140 there right now on this game. All right, guys, check out Pickdawgz. I have the side over at Pickdawgz as a best bet. Get on board. Of course, the long-term pass will serve you well. The 3-7 or 3-day all sports pass. Get all my premium plays for that time period you select. When you go over to my Handicapper page and make that purchase, remember the promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save that 15% off. Multi-capper promotions offering great value. All right, let's get to the recap. We went a little long in the show today. Like I said, the first game doesn't start till 5 in another hour or so. So we went a little longer than usual because it was a good day to. It's kind of a slower sports day, but it's all good day to talk here about the upcoming playoffs in baseball. Of course, the hockey coming up. Brian was on. We went into some Wednesday college football too because we had to ask a lot of questions about these games because the New Mexico State here -6.5 against FIU. David on Louisiana Tech plus 5.5 against Western Kentucky. Of course, Brian was on the Aggies to start us off. Jay liked the Texas Rangers to win the AL Wildcard Series versus the Rays at plus 130. Brad was on Daniel Jones over 230.5 passing yards. Javon was on Mike Breida under 44 rushing yards. Rod was on the Jays to win the AL Wildcard Series versus the Twins at -105. I'm on Daniel Jones over 1.5 passing touchdowns to return there plus 140. And the one I like a couple of them up here, quite a bit here. There's a lot of them that I like in this one. Let's see. The one I will go with here will be on. Let's go with Rod here on the Jays to win the American League Wildcard Series against the Twins at -105. The Jays to get the job done. I like the way the pitching matchup is right now. Bassett, Gausman, and of course Seal if you need him at the end there. Of course, Lopez has not been sharp at all down the stretch here. All right, that's going to do it here. Let's see here. We're getting some chat folks in here. Appreciate all the contributors today here. A great day to talk sports betting here, especially with the wild card playoffs coming up, hockey coming up, and of course we've got the football as well on the menu. That's going to do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow live here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We're bringing our Kappas here from the Pickdawgz Sports Chat place. They'll go through their plays for you in real time. Remember, it always gets started here with the morning show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch, Jay, and Chris. Also, we have all these video series. Remember, Chris's home run prop video. You want to check that out for the baseball playoffs. Remember the Nerfies, Yerfies from Nick. We got Mike Davis with the live shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also with the first 5 in there. So a lot of these baseball video series, keep an eye out for those. They've been doing them all season long. We're not just jumping in when the playoffs start. So good time to keep an eye on those baseball video series that we have here on the show. Remember, Romanelli will have his entire rundown from the playoff games for the remainder of the playoffs series. So make sure you check in for those 4 playoff games that he'll have up on the channel. Of course, Jay's rundown NFL and live shows as well coming up from Jay. And of course, we've got the parlay videos here from Brad, the prop videos here from our man Mills, and of course, a lot more coming in on the channel, guys. So check it out. Lots of content coming in here on the show. All right, that's going to do it here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and set those notifications so when we're live, you're live with us. Get the plays in real time to get the best numbers and handicap with us. If we match up, there you go. All right, that's going to do it. Let's bring in our cappers from tonight. We'll bring in our guys here. Going to wave goodbye to guys. You guys have a great afternoon, evening, and we'll catch up with you again here tomorrow live on the drive-thru. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to hang on one second. Uh-oh. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to do a hard close and reset the computer. So I'll say goodnight to everybody and all the cappers. We'll catch up with you guys again tomorrow because the stream is not stopping on Mike's stream command here, and it's not even stopping on the reset